Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
So, Amar, we should wait for 5 minutes more, right?
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Okay. Amar, I can start with the session, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am, we can start.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so in the last session, we completed with iterative loops. Okay, so we had gone through many examples for different types of loops like for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And also the assignment based on the iterative loop, okay, was shared. So every program or all the data files have been shared till day 5. Okay. So today we are going to start with actually arrays, which is day 6. Okay. So day 6 and day 7 both are the topics of arrays only. Okay. So we will be going through different types of the arrays, integer, character, and then we will also go for strings. Okay. So these 2 days actually are on arrays. Okay. So today we will start with the topic on what are arrays. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen and let me know the screen is visible. Yeah. So just confirm that the screen is visible to everyone. Yeah, can I get the confirmation? Amar, is the screen visible?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
visible.
fine. Okay. So we will go through the last part, okay, of the looping and iterative construct. So we had gone through these 3 type of the loops, okay. So once again, I will go with the comparison and then the applications that already we have done with, a lot of examples on loops yesterday. So now we know why loops are used, right? So we have got the for loop. Okay, this is the syntax for the for loop, right? Initialization, condition, and then the update. While loop. So you will be writing the condition here. Do while loop at least one time. The statements in the do is going to execute and then the condition is going to be checked. Okay. And in the case of for loop and while loop, the conditions is going to be checked before executing the loop body. In the do while, the condition is going to be checked after at least one time executing the body. Okay. So we have gone through the examples. So what are the applications of the loop? Means where loops are used. Okay. Summation or factorial programs, reversing numbers, counting digits. Okay. Reversing numbers we have done. Searching arrays. Okay. Today we will be performing, okay, the arrays. Okay. And in this also we are going to make use of the loops. Right. So searching arrays, printing patterns, we did with printing patterns. Okay, we printed the right angle triangle. Menu driven programs we created, okay, which is nothing but do while loop. Nested loops we did, okay, which is nothing but outer for loop for rows and inner for loop for columns. Okay, the same we have to do with the arrays also, right? So once you understood the looping, the same applies for the arrays. Okay, so let us start with a new topic, that is arrays. So what we are going to, learn in this, what are the different type of the arrays? What are the different initialization techniques? Then what is array indexing, accessing the array element and traversing the array, and performing the various operations on arrays. Okay, so let us start with introduction to arrays first of all. Now, till now, what we had done, okay, we were working on only one particular value, which was stored in one array, one variable, okay. So we were working on one particular value. But Okay, what is an array? It is a collection of the different values. Okay, but all the values are of the same data type, and collectively these values, okay, will be referred by one variable name. That is what is an array. So what if you need to, store 10 elements or 100 elements? You will not go on creating 10 variables or 100 variables, right? So in that case, you will be making use of arrays. An array is a collection of elements of the same data type stored in contiguous memory location. Now, we already had, known this earlier about the data type and how much, the byte a specific data type is using. Okay, now depending on that, these array elements are going to be stored in the contiguous memory location. Okay, but the name will be one only. An array is a data structure. What is a data structure? Okay, when you talk about data structure, it is nothing but the arrangement of data in the memory. See, if you will go for learning the data structure, then there are different types of the algorithms what you need to learn, okay, for performing a specific task, right? So in array, I will be going through, okay, one of the data structure, okay, for performing the operations, right? An array is a data structure that contains a number of variables called the elements of the array. Okay, so you will be having number of the values. Actually, it is one variable only. It stores and manipulates multiple values using a single variable name. So this now array, okay, this particular array will be having only one name. So let us say the name of this array is array. Okay, now the array will be starting from the index 0. Okay, yesterday we did with the loops. We initialized the loop from 0 or 1. But when it comes to array, whether you talk about C or you talk about C++ or the other programming languages, arrays always starts from 0. The index of the array starts from 0. So this is the lower bound and this is the upper bound. Okay. Now there are 5 elements in an array which is known by a particular name. Okay, that is a variable name. The values are given in this. Okay. Now this is the first index. Okay, starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the last element index will be the total number of element minus 1 because it starts from 0. So the fifth element will be in the index 4 because it starts from 0. So last element ka index is the total number of elements minus 1. Okay. Now, if you talk about this array, this contains integer value. Okay, so integer is occupying 4 bytes. Okay, so let us say that the address of this 6, okay, variable is 1001. Okay, so this will be 1005, that is 4 bytes. Okay, then this will be 1008 like that. Why? Because integer is occupying 4 bytes. Similarly, if you talk about the character array, yes, in C, character array will be having the null, okay, at the end. So we will see that in the character arrays. Now, this is the character value stored and character is occupying 1 byte. Okay. So the address of this is 1001. Okay. This will be 1002 because it is occupying 1 byte. But these elements are stored in the contiguous memory location. Means they will be exactly next, okay, memory location then the first element. So this is 0 and this is last element which is nothing but in the index 6. Okay, so total 7 elements are there. Okay, so depending on the type, okay, the addresses will be there. Now these are just the example address written. Okay, exactly, this is not the address. As we know, memory address is completely different. Okay, but it's an example. These are the memory address written. Okay, so collectively this is known by the array name. Okay, so now we need to work on these multiple values. And another thing is that these array elements should be of same data type. Should be of same data type. Now this is true for the languages, okay, which will be having, or you can say, which are statically bound languages, okay, tightly bound languages, not loosely typed languages. Like if you talk about JavaScript, in JavaScript or in PHP, you can have the elements which are of different data type. But if you talk about C, C++, okay, Java, .NET, you will have the elements of the same data type. So loosely typed languages like PHP, JavaScript will have the array containing the different types. In this languages like .NET, C#, you will be having something known as the collections. Okay. So now what are the different types of the arrays? Okay. So we have got one dimensional array, which will be a single row. Like this is the one dimensional array because there is only one single row. Okay. And this row is also zero row. Okay. And this is the zero column. If you talk about 2D array, so it is used to represent tables or matrices. Okay, so let us say int matrix, 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so this is 2-dimensional array, and this is the name of the array is A. Okay, which will be having 10 elements, right? This is the matrix array, which is having 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so the first will be rows and this will be the number of columns, right? And then multi-dimensional array, like this is the array of higher dimension. This is an example of a 3D array. Okay, so this is int cube. These are the 3 particular dimensions. Okay, 3, 3 and 3, right? So this is a combination of 2D array, you can see, right? So what we are going to do, okay, we are going to do as of now 1D and 2D array, and most of the operations you will be doing on 1D array. Okay, now how this will be represented? First of all, if you talk about 1D array, okay, so this all will be actually okay, referred by one name. How variable is referred? We are using int num is equal to 1. So num is a variable name, but this num is going to store only one variable, one value. But here add is the name of the array, which will be having 5 elements. Okay, this is a one dimensional array, only rows. So here you will have 5 what the different elements, okay, which will be starting from 0 till 4, and this will be having contiguous memory location. Okay, then if you talk about 2D array, okay, so here we have got 2 rows and 4 columns. Okay, now this is the 0 row, this is the first row, 2 rows are there. Okay, and 4 columns are there. So this is the first column, second column, third column, and this is the fourth column. Okay, now if you go for this particular only one element, so this will be referred by array of 1 comma 0, okay, or array of 1 comma 1, array of 1 comma 2, array of 1 comma 3. This is array of 0 and 0. This is the 0 row, this is the first row. So 0 row and 0 column, 0 row and first column, 0 row and second column, 0 row and third column. This is the first row. So array of first row, 0 column. This is the first row, this is the 0 column. Okay, first row, first column. Second row, sorry, first, this is your column, okay, 2, and this is your column 3. Okay, row will be 1, here row will be 0. Number of elements, if you want to find, that is rows into column, 2 into 4 is equal to 8. Okay, so total number of elements will be 8. This is a 2-dimensional array. Okay, so we will see how to initialize, how to access, how to traverse these array elements now. Okay, so I hope this much is clear to everyone. Okay, because this is simply understanding what is an array as of now. So this is a one-dimensional array where only one row is there. This is two-dimensional array where 2 rows are there. This is the row 0 and this is the row 1. Actually, it starts from 0. Okay, so 0 row, 0 column. It will be representing this element. 0 row, first column. It will be representing this element like that. Okay, so now first we will be understanding about 1D array. Okay, So coming to array initialization techniques for one-dimensional array. Now this is very important for you to understand that how we have to initialize the array elements, because there are different ways. Okay, static initialization, partial initialization, default or global or static. Okay, yesterday somebody has asked this question on what will happen if you write this before the main. That was global. Okay, that was okay, you can write, right? Whatever is written outside the main function, that is global. Okay, so that it is accessible in all the different functions. Then compile time initialization and runtime initialization. Compile time and static initializations, okay, that is initializing at the same time at the time of declaration. Now let us one by one do this. Okay, and I will be also in the same example will do for 2D array. Okay, 2D array in the same files. Okay, so that the same file will contain both the array initialization and traversing. So what is the static initialization? Values are assigned to all array elements at the time of declaration. Okay, like here int a3 is equal to 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this is also known as compile time initialization. Fixed values before execution. Int a3 1, 2, 3. Okay, so three elements. So what are the three elements? 1, 2, 3 are the three elements, correct? Now let us write this code for static initialization first. Okay, so now I will start writing the code here. So let us go for, I'll save this file. Okay. So let us now create the folder. It is already created as day 6. Okay. And I will be saving this because this is a static. So static array. Okay. .c. So this name I will be giving so that it is understood. Hash include stdio.h. Okay. Int main. Right? As of now, we are only using the main function. Okay. So what I will do, I'm writing for 1D array. Okay. I'm writing the code for 1D array initially. So I'm using int arr5. Okay. Arr is nothing but it is a name of array. If you want, you can give a proper name. If you want like array 1D, I can write. Okay. This is a 1D array. Okay. 5 elements I want to store. Equal to, okay, let us have the elements 30, 40 and 50. Okay, these are the elements of the array, right? Now what? Now let us print these values. Okay, print the 1D array elements. Okay, fine. Now if I simply write, okay, so let us say I only want to print few elements. Okay, so I will be using printf %d. Okay, and then I am writing array 1d. Okay, and then I will write here the index number. So let us say I'm writing 0. Okay, I'm writing the array 1d 0. Okay, so what is the 0? The index number, because it starts from 0. So 0 index 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So only this much is written. Now what? Let us compile this. Okay, so I will be going to the command prompt and let us now open this drive D. I have got C programs and then we have got day 6. Okay, and let me write, because no for loop is written, so it should compile. Okay, and I'm getting the value 10. Correct. This is accessing. Okay, this is accessing one element of the array, that is array 1D of 0. Now, let us say if I don't write here 5. Okay, I'm not giving the number of elements. Okay, number of element is not given, then also it is okay, right? Because here you are actually providing the number of elements, okay, initially, right? So even if you don't provide, it is going to take the number of elements as 5 only, correct? Whatever numbers you are providing or whatever values you are providing here for the array. Now, this is an integer array, so you must be storing all integer values because array will be having all the elements of the same data type. Okay, so you cannot store any other value here. Okay, now let us say that if I'm going to have the value of 5. Okay, now this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 4. Okay, 5 is not there. So what you're going to get in 5? Okay, so as of now, I will simply write this and show you. I'm getting 0. Okay, rest value I'm going to get 0 here. Fine. But why? Because there is no value in the 5th index. Okay, we have got the index till 4. Okay, so what I will do, I will print only 2. So let us say I am printing the value at 0 index and I'm printing the value at 4 index. Okay, so here I can write value at index 0. Correct, this is 0. And here I will write value at index 4. Value at index 4. Okay, that is the last value. But you are not going to write individually all the elements, okay, to display them, right? So here I will simply write /n and here I will write /n. Okay, because then if it contains 100 elements, okay, you need a way to traverse the array. Okay, and that's where your for loop will be used. So value at index 0, I will be getting 10. Okay, and value at index 4, I'm getting 50. This is individually accessing the array elements. Okay, but now let us traverse the array using for. This is what has to be used, right? You are going to not print all the array elements like this. So traversing array elements, okay, using for. This is what needs to be used. So here you will write for int I equal to 0. Now understand, this I should be initialized to 0 because first index starts from 0. So you need the elements to be traversed and displayed from index 0. Okay, so you have to start the loop from 0. Correct. Then what is the condition? How many times this loop should continue, should run? It should continue till the total number of elements. Okay, so here I will be writing the condition I is less than 5 because it will start from 0 and the last index is 4. Okay, and then I have to go on incrementing one by one because I want to traverse to all the elements of the array. Now you will print the elements. Okay, how to print? So printf, okay, %d. I want to give some space. I want to give some space after every element. Okay, so this space is given, comma. Now array 1d. Okay, array 1d index. Now whenever you have to, access the element, okay, at an index, right, then you have to open the square bracket. So here index of I, index of I. Okay, so what is I value now initially? So again, I'm going through the loop here. Okay, so this is 0. 0 is less than 5. Yes, come inside the for loop. So array 1d of 0. What is in 0? 10. Okay, now I will be 1 because it is incremented. 1 is less than 5 yes. Okay, come inside the for loop. So array 1D of 1. So I will be getting 20. So this loop will continue till 4. Okay, because till then the condition is true. So now let us run this and see whether we are getting all the array elements at once. Okay. So since we are using int I equal to 0 in the header of for loop, so we need to use the hyphen std equal to C99. Okay, now write A. Fine. So you will see that I'm getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm getting all the values here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is what is a for loop. Okay, so mostly whenever you need to traverse the arrays, you have to make use of the for loop. Okay. Now, another question here is, okay, always make this particular value dynamic. Okay, means what? Let us say I'm not giving the array elements, okay, at the time of declaration. Okay, I want to take the values of array from the user. That is, okay, what we will be doing in the runtime array initialization. Now, at that time, the number of array elements are not fixed. Okay. So, how you will be writing the code for iterating, okay, till that many number of elements. Now, here I know that there are 5 elements in the array. So, I have written here 5. If I'm giving here 10, I will write here 10. But always better is to provide the size of the array element, and then you will dynamically use the array element, okay, total number of element. So how to provide that? Okay, so what I will be doing is I will be using the size. Okay, so how to find out that size? So int size is equal to, now this, there is an operator size of, okay, array 1D, okay, size of array 1D, divide by size of, okay, understand this, size of array 1D of 0 element. Now understand this, why we are doing, okay? Okay, is there any question, Arpita? Okay, Arpita, fine. So I hope till here it is clear, Arpita, how the values of the elements are displayed here. Is this much clear? Arpita, is this much clear how the array elements are displayed? Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, so once again, I will explain. Okay. So initially we are starting from int I equal to 0. Understand? So 0 index value 10 is going to be displayed because 0 is less than 5. This condition is true. Then I plus plus. Okay. It is 2. So 2 is less than, sorry, 1. 1 is less than 5. Yes. So add array 1D of 1. What is value in 120? That will be displayed. So this is nothing but displaying the elements from an array. Yesterday when we have done with the loops, okay, we have not displayed the value from the array. Understand? That is the same logic. We have simply written I. It was displaying the value of I. It was displaying the value of I. Correct. Now, instead of displaying the value of I, this I is the index of the array. So we are simply writing that index, okay, in the array of 1D. Okay, now what I had, okay, my question was that why cannot we specify here the size, okay, which is calculated? Okay, we cannot write a static value here. Now I can write a static value 5 because I know there are 5 elements. Correct. So next thing is make it dynamic. Don't make it static. Dynamic means which is calculated at runtime. Okay, or the value which is given by the user. So here to calculate what is the size of the array, it is 5 or it is 10, what it is. Okay, So we have got a size of operator. Okay. So size of array 1D. How many total number of elements are there? Total number of elements are 5. Okay. So total size divide by size of array 1D of 0. But one particular element size is what? It is dividing by that. Okay. So here I will write. So we have got total size, which is 5. Okay. Total size divide by one element size. One element size. This will give you the total size. That is 5 only. Total is 5 and one element size is 1 only because it is, sorry, one element size you will be having 4 bytes. Okay, and total size of array 1D. So this is total 20. Okay, because 5 elements are there, right? So if you want now to check that, I will write it down. So here printf, see, you can use printf to get the values. Okay, that is up to you. So if I will write %d, okay, let me write size of array 1D so that you will understand how it is calculated. Okay, %d. And now I will write here size of array 1D. Okay, simply do the calculation here also. You will be able to get that. Okay, then I will print size of array 1D. Okay, size of array 1D 0 means one element. Okay. See, these are predefined functions available. And here, size, only size. Okay. So size of, this is only size. Okay. So I simply want to print what is the value of size because that is what we are calculating. Okay. Later on, I will be updating the following. Okay, so let us have /n here to understand it better. So this is /n. Okay. And here also I will write /n. 2 types. Okay. Let me execute once again. Okay, look here. Now please understand this. Okay. So first we are getting value at index 0, that is 10, value at index 4, I'm getting 50. Okay. Size of array 1D is 20, as I said earlier, because every particular array element is of integer. And integer is having size 4. Byte size of integer is 4. Okay. So it is occupying 4 bytes. So 4 into 5 is 20 because 5 elements are there. So what you are getting, size of array 1D is 20. Okay, it is 20. And what is size of array 1D of one element? That is 0 element. That is 4 because integer is occupying 4 bytes. Now, if you divide 20 by 4, you will get size that is 5. That means total number of elements in the array is 5. And that we are taking in the size. Okay, or you can also give this variable as length to understand that it is a length. Okay, so length of array. Length of array. Okay, 1D, that is size. So instead of now writing here 5, which is manually written, okay, hard coded, you will write here length. Because we have calculated the length by dividing size of the complete array by size of one array element. Okay. So always you will use this dynamic length property. Okay. You can give any variable name here. That also should give me the output. Sorry. So here it should be length because I changed the variable name. Okay. Now, and size of is a predefined function available. See here. Okay. So I'm getting the values here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm getting the values here. Okay. Is this much clear, everyone, now? Okay. Int length. Okay. Int length. See, if I don't give here anything, let us say I am not giving here 5s. Okay. So initially I have written here 5. Please, everyone understand. We have written here 5 because 5 elements were there. Okay, but I don't want to write this particular 5 value, which is a static value. Okay, what if I'm taking the values from the user? User can give 10 values, 20 values, 100 values. Okay, then what will be the size that I need to calculate? So here we are calculating the length, which is 5, by applying this formula. Okay, so size of array 1D. What is the total size of this array? You will get it by using the size of operator which is already available. Okay, so size means if it is an integer array is occupying 4 bytes in memory. Okay, so if you go back to the operators session, okay, in the tabular format, it is giving the number of bytes integer is occupying. So it is 4. Total 5 elements are there. Okay, that means 5 into 4, 20. But I need the size of this array element, means how many total number of elements are there. So we have to divide that by the size of one element. So size of one array is going to be what? 4. So 20 divided by 4, and that is what I am printing here every time. What is the size of array 1D? What is the size of one particular element? And what will be the length, which is nothing but 20 divided by 4. Okay, that is fine. And that length, we are writing it here instead of writing 5. Instead of writing 5. Okay, so everywhere you can make use of this. Depending on what is the data type you are using, you will be getting the output. Okay, you will be getting the length. Okay, so I hope, Arpita, this is clear. Okay, good. Yeah, you can give any particular data type to find the size of that type. Okay, so for that also you can make use of size of, right? Fine. So this is what is the 1D array. Okay, 1D array. Fine. This is one example, which is the static array. That is static initialization. So same goes true for the compile time initialization also. Now let us go for partial initialization. Partial initialization. See, partial means you will not give values for all the elements. Okay, so here we had 5. Even if you don't write, it is okay, right? Now int a5 is equal to 1 comma 2. Okay, what you have done in this case, okay, you had declared an array of element 5. Okay, that means you want an array of elements 5. Okay, now there are 5 elements, but the value for only 2 elements you are giving. Okay, so 1 and 2, you are not providing 5 values. Now this is known as partial initialization. You are partially initializing the array. Okay, so only a few elements are initialized. The remaining elements automatically become 0 for global or static arrays, or undefined for local arrays if not explicitly initialized. Okay, so here we will also understand what is global array and what is the static keyword later on. Okay, so let us understand this also. So what I'm going to do, let me copy this. Okay, and I'll take a new file. And I'm going to save this as, okay, I'll make the changes. So what we can do, this is partial array, right? So let me give the name as partial array. Okay, fine. So once you are saving it, you will see that it is now using the C language. Okay. So int array 1D of 5. Now let me just remove this. Okay. I'm only using 2 values to initialize, even though I have given that there are 5 elements, okay, in the declaration statement. So this is known as the partial initialization. Okay, this is known as the partial initialization. Okay. This is going to be same. So I think this is not required now. Okay. So let me just remove this. Okay. But if you want, you can still have this to understand what is the length. So let me just keep that. Okay. Fine. What we are doing, we are just having 10 and 20. That's it. Partial initialization. Okay. Rest all the code is same. But it is better to write this in a separate file. Okay. So let us now change this name. This is the partial. Okay. Let us go with the output. Understand there is no changes in the code except in line number 5, instead of giving 5 values, okay, we are giving only 2 values. But still, the size of the array is 5. So what about the rest of the values? That is going to be 0 automatically. Okay, in case of integer. So value at index 0 is 10. Value at index 4 is 0. Because 4th index value we have not provided. Okay, size of array 1D is 20. Why it is 20? Because we have got 5 written here. So the size of array will be 20 only. Okay. Size of array 0 is 4. Okay. Length of array 1D is 5. So you are going to get the same output. But in this case, the last 3 values are going to be 0. This is a partial initialization. No changes. Okay, no changes in the code except this. This will be same because the total size of 1D array we have given is 5. Okay, so it is going to be same, right? Partial initialization. Then we will understand what is the default. Okay. Now here you need to understand something which is known as the garbage value in C. Okay. When an array is partially initialized, okay, now here I will make use of global array also and static also. Okay, remaining elements are initialized to 0 automatically. That is what we have seen just now. Local arrays, remaining elements are initialized to 0 only if explicitly, explicit means where we are giving, okay, or we are using some modifier. Initialized partially, otherwise they contain garbage value. Okay, now you can see here there is one keyword written which is known as a static. Okay, so let us understand this. So what I'm going to do now, okay, let me create a new file. Okay, and we will save this file as this is the, let us save this as default value array. Okay, default value array.c. Okay, and what I will do, let us copy this again. Yes, I will make some changes in this. Okay, so let us remove this part here. Okay, so what I will do, I want to now use the global array. Okay, so I'm writing int array, right? Array 1D. And here I am writing 5. Okay, now understand, this is something known as a global array. Okay, why it is known as global array? Because this we have initialized outside the main, outside the function. Okay, so this becomes a global array. Fine. Now, in the main, okay, so let me just calculate the size. So this I will be copying and pasting it here. Okay, so this code I'm not making any changes. Okay, and print that. Okay, so this code will remain same. Okay, so as of now, I'm not making any changes. So let us print the value of this. Okay, now understand what is done. No values are given. No values are given. Okay, global array is declared, but no values are given. So what will be the values which will be printed? Okay, for all the 5 elements. Okay, let us understand that. So now I will be going for the default value array. Okay. So if you see here, okay, this is understood. So we have got 20, this is 4, length of array 1D is 5. Okay, why? Because we have given this 5. But what is the default value of this array? It is 0. In partial initialization also, we had got 0, where no values are there. Here also we have got 0. Okay. Now, if I don't specify here anything, please understand, if you are not giving the length or size of the array, okay, and you compile this, you will get the error in these particular 3 statements, okay, because invalid application of size of, because we have not specified, okay, what is the size. Okay, and if I'm going to, let us say, comment this part. Okay, let us say I comment this part. Okay, and here then what you are going to write? Because there is nothing written here. Okay, so that is important that you have to initialize that. Okay, initialize this. So I have written here 5. Okay, this is one particular point. Okay, now I will, what I'll do here with the local, that was global, local array without initialization. Okay, without initialization. Local array without initialization. Now please understand this. So int local array, I'm creating a variable by the name of local array. And I'm writing here 5. Okay. So this is local array. Why local? Because it is written inside the main function. So whatever you are defining inside the function, that is what local. And whatever is written outside the function, that is global. Okay. So this is local array and it is not initialized. Okay. This is not initialized. Fine. Let us find out the size. So now I'm simply going to copy this. Okay. And let us change the value. So length of local array. Okay. So this will be, again, I have to make the changes here. Okay. So this will be local array and this will be local array. Okay. And let us traverse. Okay. So I'm going to use this. Let us traverse that array. Let us just have some print statement here so that we are getting this in the new line. Okay. And here we are going to have the local array output. So this will be length of local array. Okay. And here I'm going to print the local array. Okay. Understand 2 different ways now we are doing. First is we are having the global array. Okay. And we have printed this global array element. And now we are declaring the local array which is inside the main. Okay, then we are finding the size of the local array and we want to traverse, right? Let us see the output. Okay. This is the default array value. What we are getting here is 1. Okay. So let me just here I have not written 0. Okay. That is the reason why I was getting some different output, because the value of length local array was not correct. Okay. Now this is what I wanted to show you. Look here. If you see here, the output, okay, everyone, this is the output of the global array. Okay, this is output of the global array. Okay, so where we are getting all the values as 0. Now, the array which is global will have the default value. Okay, if the values are not provided at the initialization. So what is the default value of integer? That is 0. Okay, so you are having all the values as 0. Now, in the case of local array, you are having some value which is known as the garbage value. Okay, 420, you have got 1. So you are getting this. This is known as a garbage value. Okay. Now, what is a garbage value? Okay, so in the next slide, it is written. Okay, understand this and how you will change the code so that you are not getting the garbage value. Okay. A garbage value in C refers to the unpredictable or random value stored in a variable or array element that has been declared but not initialized. Okay. So if you declare a variable or an array and you have not initialized that, then, okay, probably you're going to get a garbage value. Now, this is a random value. Maybe whatever has been done in that memory location before that memory location is used when you declare a variable, that is the garbage value. A garbage value is whatever data happens to already exist in memory at that location before any program writes to it. So what had happened before the program, okay, whatever program you are using and executing, that value you will be getting if you're not initializing it. If you're initializing, then that value will be written in that memory location. C does not automatically initialize local or automatic variable. In global variables, you are getting, in global array, you are getting 0, but not in the local. You're getting here garbage value. So if you are simply using int num, it is going to point to a block of memory on the stack. Okay, stack where your data is stored, right? Whatever bits were there before are interpreted as an integer. Hence the value garbage, it is unpredictable. Okay, so there is some value you are getting because you have not initialized the local array. Now, how you're going to avoid the garbage values? Okay, initialize variables when declared. Okay, so first thing is you have to initialize the local variables, okay, with some value. That is one thing. Second is you can use the memset function to clear the arrays. Now this memset function is available in the string.h. Okay, it is available in the string.h header file. So you have to provide the array 0 size of array. So it will clear the values, okay, garbage values. So another is assign values before use, or okay, or you can also take the values from the user and initialize them. Use static or global for default 0. Okay. Now, if you want the values to be 0 and not the garbage value, you can use the global. So that is what I have shown you earlier. Another way is if you write the static keyword. Okay. So here simply. Now, two ways I will be showing, okay? Just a minute. Okay. So, here we are going to use, okay, so one thing is, please understand, one thing is you can make use of the static, okay? So I will use a static keyword here. Now, what is the meaning of the static in C? Okay, so within a function, so what we are doing now, we are using this main function, okay? So within a function, okay, when you are applying this to a local or automatic, you can say a variable, okay, it means the persistent, the variable retain its value, okay, between the various functions called, and it is going to be called only once. When the function is called once, it is going to be called only once, okay? So it is going to be stored on the data segment of the program memory, and it is not going to be stored on the stack like a regular local variable, okay? So this is going to hold the value 0 because it is going to be stored in the program's memory, in the segment of the program memory, not on the stack like a regular local variable, okay? So if you use static keyword here, only use a static keyword. This is one of the option, okay? So now I'm going to compile this again. So you see now, once you have written static, okay, what is happening? You are not getting the garbage value. You are getting value 0, which is the default value. Okay. And second, see this third one, how to take the values from the user, that I will do it in the last example. Initialization you can do. You can use a global, the one we have done outside the main function, or you can use this function. Okay. So one is you can use a static. Okay. So what I will do, I will copy this. Okay. And I'm going to comment 1. Okay. So that you can uncomment and compile to see the garbage value in this case. Okay. And let us say that I am using this int local air. Now I'm not using static. Okay. I'm not using static. So I will get the garbage value. Okay. Please understand. Okay. If you don't want a garbage value, okay, in the local variables, either use global, write it outside, either use static keyword, or third, I'm showing you, use the memset. So that is available in the string.h. Okay. So I will be writing here string.h. Okay. And now here, what you will be using. Okay. Let me just write a function here. One. What is the parameters to this function? Okay. That is add. So use the memset, memory set. Okay. What is the name of the array? That is a local array. Okay. It should start from 0 index and size of. Okay. What is the total size of that array? You have to provide the size of the local array. That's it. Okay. So this particular function is going to set the memory. So local array, clear the memory, local array, then second parameter is 0, start from 0 index till the total size of the array. Now, if you are not using the static keyword and you are using this particular function to clear the memory, okay, then we will see the output. So this is something which you need to understand, okay. Now also I'm getting 0. Now also I'm getting 0. Okay, so there are two ways. Either you include the static keyword. If you are not including static keyword, you use this to clear the memory. Okay, both are okay. So what you have to do, please understand, I'm commenting 1. Okay. Is this understood, everyone? Is this clear? Yeah, this is difficult little bit to understand, but once, okay, you will be, uncomment and, run this program, it will be clear. Is this clear, everyone? Arpita? Okay, fine. Okay, so this is the default. This is the default. Okay, this is the default global or static variable. Okay, very much important concept in arrays. Then compile time initialization. This is what we did earlier, fixed values before execution. Okay, so int add 3 is equal to 1 to 3. Now coming to runtime initialization. Runtime means what? Runtime means you are taking the values of the array from the user. Okay, array elements are assigned during program execution, typically via user input or computed values. Now we already understood, okay, what is scanf. We have taken the values from the user for variables. Okay, but now we will be taking for the array element. The only difference is when you are using this scanf, okay, you will be using address of A of I. A means array, okay, name of array, and I is the index. So we need to now, input the values of the individual array elements into the different indexes. Okay. So only writing address of A will not help. Address of A of I. So address of A of 0, first value will be gone. Address of A of 1, second value will be taken, like that. Okay. So let us do that example. So what I'm going to do now, let us go for this array. I'm going to copy this. Okay, and let us create a new file. Right? So instead of writing, now you know, okay, what is the structure of the program. Okay, so you can now very well, write the same program. So instead of writing, I'm just taking the same program. So this is a runtime array. Okay, this is a runtime array.c. Okay. Now what we will do? I'm not initializing this. Okay, I'm not initializing this. We will take the value from the user. Okay, so what we are asking the user? We are asking the user to enter 5 numbers. Okay, so enter 5 integer numbers. Okay. Now use the scanf. So for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus. Okay, you are going to make use of scanf. It is integer %d. Now what? Address of array 1d of I. Okay. So when the user is going to give first value, that value is going to be stored in the array of 0 index. Okay. Then second value user is giving, that will be stored in the array 1d index 1. Okay. So how many values now we are taking from the user? 5 values. So previously we have done this scanf only for taking one value, okay, which is stored in a variable. But now in the loop, you can use the scanf statement to input as many values, okay, which needs to be stored in the array. So since it is 5, so we will be using 5 times, okay. Then we will print. Okay, so I'm just going to write here printf, you entered that's it. Okay, so let us now here, if I'm not using and directly writing the 5, then also it is okay, right? This will be 5. You can also take how many array elements are there, okay? And then you can use that as well. So this will be runtime, okay? So I'm getting enter 5 integers, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so what I'm getting you entered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the whatever values I have entered, the same value I'm getting out in the for loop. Okay, so this is what is the runtime array. Okay, this is runtime array. So these are the different array initialization techniques. Okay, this is for 1D array. The same holds true for 2D arrays. Okay. Is this much clear, everyone? Is this much clear before I go to the various operations on this 1D array? Is this clear to all? Yes. Okay, got it. Arpita, fine. Okay, let us go to the next. Okay, so now the whatever has been explained, everything is mentioned here. So array elements are accessed using indices or index, which is starting from 0. So array of 0 equal to 5, you can assign 5 to the first element. Array of 4 is equal to 15. Individual array element can also be assigned. Okay. So assign 15 to fifth element. Then when you use printf, okay, you will be getting the output 15 because array of 4 contains 15. Out of range access, like array of 10, when size is 5, causes undefined behavior. Traversing means accessing each element of the array sequentially using a loop. Okay, so you can make use of for, while, or do while loop can be used to access the array elements, but usually for loop is used. Okay, now the same holds true for the 2D array. Okay, so we are going to only work on 1D and 2D arrays. If you see, in the case of two-dimensional array, which contains the number of rows and the number of columns. Okay, this initialization techniques is same as 1D array. Okay, there is no difference, right? So the first, if you go for the static initialization, all the values will be initialized at the time of declaration. Okay, so int a, 2 rows and 2 columns. Now understand, when you have to provide the value for this, the first value is going to this particular set, okay, in the curly brackets, 1 comma 2. Okay, then the second row value is 3 and 4. So 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so like here, if you see this diagram, we have got 2 rows, but only 2 columns are there, only this much. Okay, so the first value will be going here in the first row, second value will be going into the second row. Okay, fine. Then partial initialization, same concept. Int a 2 3, that means 2 rows and 3 columns are there, is equal to 1 2 and then 3. Okay, so the partial initialization is done. In this case also, the remaining value is going to be 0, right? Default initialization, same what we did earlier. If you are using state global, then it will be 0. If you are using local, then garbage value you will get. So initialize or declare the array with the static keyword. Compile time initialization. Compile time initialization. Okay, before fixed values are there. Runtime initialization, you will be taking the value from the user. The only difference here is, here you are using @a of I and j, means a of 0 and 0, means first row, first column. 0 and 1, 0 row, that is the first row and the first column. Okay, so you have to now here make use of rows and column. And one more thing, in the case of 2D arrays, you will be using the nested for loop. Yesterday we did the nested for loop for printing that triangle. So here the outer for loop will be iterating into the rows and inner for loop will iterate into the columns. Okay, outer for loop will be traversing the rows and inner for loop will be traversing the column, iterating rows and column. It is the same thing what we did yesterday with the triangle value. Okay, so let us understand this also. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the code here itself. Okay, let us not make a different file so that both the initialization, okay, for 1D and 2D, you will be getting in the same file. Okay, so don't create a different file. Okay, since you understood what is 1D, this is quite simple. Only thing is you need to use 2 for loop. Okay, so this is a 2D array. So I will be writing for all. Okay, so let us say this is array 2D. Now I can write to understand this is a 2D array. 2 rows, 3 column is equal to. Okay, now please understand this is a set of the values which needs to be given. Okay, so the 2 rows are there. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3. So first row, 3 columns. Okay, so this is first row. Okay, 1, 2, 3 values are there because 3 columns are there, comma, in the second row. Okay, in the second row, let us say 4, 5, 6 value is there. Okay, so this is how you are going to create the 2D array. Okay, so in this case, if you go back to this particular diagram, okay, so this is the first row. Okay, that means the first. So array of 0 and 0 will have one value. Array of 0 and 1 will have the value 2, like this. 3 columns are there. Okay, so this is a 2D array. And then for loop. So outer for loop will be iterating into the rows. Okay, now here you can calculate. Okay, but I'm simply writing it down directly. So I is less than 2 because 2 rows are there, 0 and 1. I plus plus, because index starts from 0. Remember that inner for loop will be starting from 0 and j is less than 3 because 3 columns are there, 0, 1, 2, j plus plus. Okay. Printf %d array 2d. Sorry. Okay, now you have to write I and j. I and j like this. Okay, and let us have the slash n given. Okay, so understand. So initially I is 0, that means 0 row, okay? 0 is less than 2, yes. Then it will come to inside for loop. J is 0, J is less than 3, yes. Now array 2D, I and J. What is value of I? It is 0. What is value of J? It is 0. So 0 and 0 contains what value that you will be getting? So 0 and 0 contains here value 1. So you will be getting 1. Now J plus plus. Okay, so inner for loop is going to run till the value of J is, this is false. Condition is false. So this is now 1. So 1 is less than 3. Yes. So I will be 0 only. And this is going to be 1. So 0 and 1. Add of 0 and 1. So what is the value there? 2. Okay. So the 2 is going to be out. Then J is going to increment. Okay. This is going to be 2. Is 2 less than 3? Yes. So I is still 0. J is 2. So 0 and 2. 0 and 2 means the value 3 is there in add of 0 and 2. Okay, so you will be getting that value printed. Now this is going to be 3. So this condition is false. If this condition is false, come out of the for loop. Now outer for loop I plus plus. So I value is going to be 1. So 1 is less than 2. Yes. Okay, so now you will be having J as 0. So here 1 and 0. That means first row and 0 column. So in first row and 0 column, what value is there? 4. Okay, so this is 4, then 5, and then 6, like that. Now the column is going to be iterating into the second row. Okay, so let us see the output. So this is the static. So let me just find out the static. If not, I'm going to just type it again. Okay. Let us have here some printf return so that we can get the output in a new line. Okay, otherwise it is not understood. Yeah. Okay, so this is the output of the first array, what we did earlier. This is the first array and this is the second. Okay, so we have got two-dimensional array and this is the value what I'm getting as the output, right? The same holds true for partial. Okay, so I'm simply going to copy this. Okay, and here I'm going to paste it. And let me simply write here also that printf statement. Okay. See, it is going to be same. As of now, I'm just showing you how you will be creating a 2D array and printing that because we have already done with this nested for loops. Okay. Only the thing is you change this. Don't give all the values. That's it. Rest everything is going to be same. So we should get the 0 value wherever the initialization is not done. Okay, so here I'm going to write partial. Okay, see here. So in this case, we are getting 1, 2, third value is not given, so it is 0. Then here also we are getting 0. Okay. Okay, here also we are getting 0. Then let us come to the default. Here it is global array, right? So we can have a array 2D again, but don't initialize that. Okay, so this is two rows and 3 columns. Just declare this. Okay, and then here we can print that. Okay, it is one and the same thing. Okay, please understand whatever we did earlier, we are just doing this with 2D array. And yes, you can create a local app also. Okay. Oh, spelling mistake it is. Okay, so I have to write Y here. Fine. So let me now check. So you'll get that it is not declared because the name was not correct. Okay. So see here. If it is a global array, you will be getting all the values as 0. Okay. Now, if I'm creating a local 2D array, okay. So let me just copy this. Okay. Local to the array. Let me just write int matrix 2 and 3. Okay, this is local array, which is uninitialized. Okay, this is uninitialized. It is not initialized. So we need to see what you're going to get in this. Okay, so let us print this also. Okay, and instead of this, I'm simply going to write matrix. Okay, you are getting this particular value -1 1. Okay, this some values you are getting, right? Yeah. So if you are writing a static here, okay, you will be getting 0. Otherwise, you will get some okay values or garbage value or some different values itself. Okay, so if you are using static, then you will be getting all 0. Why? Because this we are creating in the function main. Okay, and then finally there is a runtime that is also going to be same. So what I'm going to do, let us go ahead and print this. Okay, you have to attendance link is going to be shared. Amar, you can share the attendance. Okay, so let me copy this and paste it here. Okay, so let us now take the value from the user. So we are just going to initialize first. Okay, int array 2D 2 and 2. Let us take 2 rows and 2 columns. Then I'm going to ask the user. Okay, enter 4 elements. See, we have to take 4 elements only. For a 2 into 2. Okay, 2 into 2 matrix. Because 2 rows and 2 columns it is. Okay, so 4 values has to be there. So we will be taking 4 values from the user for 2 into 2 matrix. Okay. So let us write a for loop here for taking the input. Okay, so I'm just going to take this because scanf is required, but our code has to be a nested for loop. Okay, so this will be less than 2. Then we are going to make use of another for loop, which is for columns. This is also less than 2 because 2 rows and 2 columns are there. Okay, and then you will use a scanf here. That's it. And here you will be using, this is 2D array. Okay, so this is 2D, I and J. Okay, so first it will be 0 row. So this is runtime initialization. Okay, this is runtime initialization. Initial values are given at runtime. Okay, so let us check this. Okay, we should get both the outputs now, so that we are taking the value for 1D array also and 2D array also. Okay, so enter 5 integers. This is for 1D array, what we did earlier. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm getting enter 4 elements for a 2 into 2 matrix. Okay, so let us say I'm going to give the value is 10, 20, 30, and 40. Okay. So this has to be 2. So now let me give again. So first we will give for the one-dimensional array. Okay, now 4 elements. Okay, so let us say I'm giving 2, 2, and 4, and 4. Okay, so now correctly I'm getting, because I was iterating 3 in the inner for loop. Okay, whereas it should be 2 only, because we have got 2 into 2. So first row has got 2, 2, and second row has got 4 and 4. Okay, so this is how your initialization will be working for both 1D and 2D array. Okay, 1D and 2D arrays. Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear? Yeah, attendance is shared now. Okay, now that we have done the 2D array, let us understand in one program, okay, of 2D array, how you're going to find out the size. Okay, there are a lot of things, because if you talk about a 2D array, this is 1D array. If you talk about individual row, it is a 1D array. This is a one-dimensional array. Okay, so either you can find for 1D individually, you can find the size for the total array. Okay, so let us do that. So only in one example I will be showing this. Okay, because since we are doing 2D array also, so we should know how to get the total size. Okay, So first is, let me get the total size of the array. Okay. 2D array I can write. Okay. Let me just give the size. Matrix we have created in the another program. Attendance is shared in the chat itself. Suraj, you can check. Attendance is shared. Okay, okay, fine, fine. Okay, let us continue now. So this is one, but let me just check. Otherwise, we can simply make use of the int also. Okay, so this is a static array. So let me compile this. Okay. Just right here. You can also make use of the integer variable and do that. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting the total size of the array. This should not be there. Okay, so we are getting some different output here, colon. So I'm getting 24. Okay. Okay, total size of the array. And now if I'm writing this way, so size underscore t, okay, is a predefined type. So instead of this, if you're going to write simply int, the way we did earlier, okay, So size of array 2D. Okay, now let me just check. And then for individual also we can do the same thing. Okay, so let us make it simple. So total size of the array 2D, here also I'm getting 24. And what you can do, since individual row is a one-dimensional array, okay, so you can also find the row size. Okay, so let us say int row size is equal to size of, okay, you can write the size of array 2D, okay, of 0 row. Understand what this is going to give you. Okay, this is the total bytes, total bytes, okay. Total 6 elements are there and every element is occupying 4 bytes. So 24 we are getting. So total bytes of entire array. Okay. Now row size. So bytes occupied by one row. Okay, this is one row. Okay, so let us print that also. So, because it is nothing but one dimensional array only. So size of one row, total size of one row. Okay, so let us just write here one row, that will be row size. Okay. And then let us do one more thing. Bytes per element. Okay. So int element size if you want. So you can simply use the size of, okay, array 2D or array 1D you can also take, okay, 0 and 0. Okay, so this is going to give you bytes per element. So make use of the size of, and let us print this. Okay. So this is size of one element. Okay, so this will be element size. So understand how you have to find out the size. And then we can also have something else here. Total rows if you want. So int rows is equal to total size. Okay, we created a total size divided by row size. Okay, this will give you total rows. How many rows are there? Okay. And if you want the columns, int columns is equal to row size, okay, divide by element size. This will give you the number of columns. Okay, so let us just print this as well. So this will be number of rows. Okay, so here I will write rows. Okay, then number of columns, right? So this is how you are going to work with the 2D arrays. Just find out all the details. Okay, so this will be the column set. Correct? Let us check. So you can do this with the other, the programs, whatever is written. Okay, Suraj. Thank you, Anushka. Okay, so what we are getting, total size of the array 2D is 24. Total size one row is 12. That is correct because here we have got three values, okay, each occupying 4 bytes. So 4 threes are 12. Okay, so total size of one row we are getting 12. Size of one element we are getting 4. That is true. Okay, number of rows is 2. Correct, because that we got by dividing total size by row size. And then number of columns is 3, that we got by dividing the row size by the element size. Okay, and here we are getting all the numbers. Okay, so this also you can use, because here we are using 2. Okay, so instead of writing 2, you can write rows. Okay, and here what is written? 3, that is nothing but a column. So column is 3. Okay, so if you are writing now, instead of writing 2 here, you are writing rows, and here you are writing the columns. Okay, because we got the number of rows as 2, we got the number of columns as 3. Okay, so now we are not giving that 2 and 3 value here. Okay, so we are calculating that values and writing. So that should not change the output here. We are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is how we should work with the 1D and 2D. As of now, what we have understood today is only initialization, accessing the array element, traversing the array element, finding out the size of the array, okay, total number of rows, total number of columns, okay, and working with the 2D. So only initializing the array elements, displaying the values of the array elements, okay. That is what we have done today, but we will be continuing this tomorrow. Okay, operations on array. We need to now do for certain operations on array, like traversing, visiting all the elements. Okay, and see, this we have already done. Traversal we have done for all. That is one of the operations. Okay, and we have done that using the for loop. Insertion, yes. Tomorrow we will understand how you are going to insert a new element at a specific index. Okay, then how you will remove an element. Insertion and removal of element will shift the elements to the different position. Okay. Searching, find a value. How you will be finding a value. Now here, one data structure we will be understanding. So either you can go for a linear search or you can use a binary search. Okay. Sorting, arrange in order. Okay, so bubble sort or selection sort or merge sort. Okay, there are different sorts, right? So we'll be understanding one simple. And then how you will be modifying the value of a specific element of an array. So like array of I is equal to new value. Okay, because these operations are important to understand. Okay, what are the operations? You have to add a new value, or you need to remove a value, you need to update a value. Insert, update, delete. Okay, these are common, you can say, the task which is done. Insert, update and delete. Okay, then you have to search for an element in an array. Searching is done, and then you need to sort the array in the ascending or the descending okay, order. Fine. So how you will be sorting? So when it comes to array, yes, there are different data algorithms available, okay, data structure. So we will understand few algorithms, right? And after that, we will understand what are the character arrays, okay, and what is string, because string will be using the array, okay, that we did earlier. But we will be just going through few examples of what is the string, okay, then what are various functions which are available in the string.h, like string compare, okay, string concatenation, finding the length of the string, which can be done by making use of predefined functions or which can be done manually. Okay, so both we will be understanding. So I hope this is clear. Okay, but after we will be, doing the operations on the array tomorrow, then you will be getting the assignment on day 6. Okay, so there are only 2 problems I will be giving you. One will be to work on a single dimensional array, one will be to work on a 2D array. Okay, so these programs I will be sharing so that you can just compile them and see the output, right? Is this much clear, everyone? I hope this is clear to all. Okay, so this I will be sharing. Then it will get uploaded. Okay, so tomorrow we will start working on operations on arrays. Okay, so I'm stopping the share. So Amar, I guess the attendance link is shared, right? They're asking for the attendance.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, everyone. So we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you all. Just a minute. There is some. Amar, you need to share the attendance link once again.
Sorry, ma'am.
Share the attendance link once again. I think someone is asking for attendance link again.
Yeah,
It is
sure.
shared. It is shared, right? Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, okay, Nisar. Now you got it. Okay, thank you all.
Students, will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.